Here we have here today Mr. Moses Kabia, Chairman of the Board of Hills Academy and Vice President, Branch Leader of Truett Bank. How are you today?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you for asking.
That's good. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and things you do?
Okay, yes, great. Again, like you said, my name is Moses Kabia. I currently work for Truist Bank. I'm the Vice President Branch Leader for the Conyers branch on 138. My background, I was born and raised in Sierra Leone in West Africa. I Let me go back a little bit. I lost both parents my mom when I was 7, my dad when I was 1. Ended up in an orphanage, grew up in an orphanage. And I would say through hard work and a few other things, with God's guidance, I was able to get a full scholarship to come to college in the U.S. I went to Butler University in Indianapolis. My degree is in international management. I had a minor in marketing. Sorry, let me take that back. It was a double major, international management and marketing, and a minor in French. Graduated from Butler and did my master's at the IU, Indiana University. I started working for Target. I worked for Target for about 7 years and moved down to Atlanta from Indiana. Then at some point I decided I wanted to get into the financial industry, so I started looking for a job and I got hired by Bank of America. I worked for Bank of America as a branch leader for 15 years. Then eventually transitioned to Truist. It was BB&T, now it's going to become Truist. I've been working for them for 3 years and as a branch leader.
What do you do with Hills Academy?
I'm on the first time I met Brian and Brian told me about Hills Academy, I was very impressed with what he was doing with the students and what you students were doing. So I decided I wanted to contribute something to Hills Academy. And when he decided to form a board, I was nominated to be the board chair. And I have been the board chair, let me see, about 6 months now since we started the board. And I just motivate the team on the board to make sure we're raising funds for Hills Academy, just sharing the message about Hills Academy. And that's my most passion. Anytime I can talk to somebody about the school, I'm talking about Hills Academy. So really my primary job is to make sure the good things that you guys are doing at Hills Academy is known to the rest of the world.
Well, thank you. What brought you to Hills Academy? Like what brought you over here to come?
It's the message that I saw. I saw you guys, the students, volunteer at the courthouse one time, and I was very impressed. Well behaved, well dressed, and I was like, I wanted to learn more about these students because they seem amazing. They seem like they're learning a lot of great things. And I talked to Brian to find out more, and Brian told me more about the school, and that's how I ended up with Hills Academy.
So do you have any children, any boys, girls?
Yes. And when I was talking about my background, actually, I've been talking about my kids. I have 2 kids, 12 and 8.
Boy or girl?
The 12-year-old is a girl, and the 8-year-old is a boy. And they're the love of my life. They live in Indiana with their mom because I'm divorced now, but they come here during the summer and spend 3 months with me every summer. They're still here right now because luckily for me, school is virtual. So they are doing schooling with me. So they're still with me they've been here since May.
So I was going to say if you had a son, but you already have a son.
Yeah.
So would you want him to come to Hills Academy?
Absolutely. If he was down here, I want him to come to Hills Academy. I'm very impressed with, like I said, with what you guys do down here.
Would you mind talking a little bit more about your childhood and growing up in Sierra Leone and how you managed to make it over here to the United States?
Yes, I'll talk a little bit about that. Actually, the way I made it over here is an interesting story. Like I mentioned, I'd lost my parents at an early age, grew up in an orphanage. Me and my brother, I have 2 brothers. I'm the youngest of 3. And my oldest brother was too old to come to the orphanage. So he took care of himself, and me and my older brother ended up in the orphanage. So we spent most of our life in the orphanage, went to different grade schools, then high school. I traveled to the capital city of Sierra Leone, which is Freetown, and we were just hanging out. And this gentleman came and started talking to us and said they're looking for bright students to start a school in Ghana. Ghana is another country in West Africa. And I decided to volunteer, not because I was excited about school. I have never flown before, so I just wanted to fly. And I knew I was going to get in an airplane and fly. And we took an entrance exam, and I passed. And still at that point, I was only excited to fly. That was it. So finally got to Ghana, and this started, it's an international school. We actually did the international baccalaureate. And we were the first, I was one of the first 5 students in the school in Ghana. So the school is now about 30 years old. That gives you my age a little bit. The school was great, and they said the first 20 students in the school, as long as you do well in your international baccalaureate, you get a full scholarship to any college in the US. But I was so naive, and we didn't have much education about the US besides what we see in movies and music videos. So there was nobody to really guide us to say, okay, you got full scholarship and you're doing well in class, you could choose all these good schools. So what I looked at was, I wanted to go to a city where there was less violence, because you see all these movies, you see all the news, and yeah. So that's how I chose Indianapolis. And I regretted that decision after I got to Indianapolis, because I could have gone to a Yale, a UCLA, Harvard, but I didn't choose any of the school. I chose a medium-sized school. But the other part of my choice was I wanted to study pharmacy. I wanted to become a pharmacist, because back home in Sierra Leone or in Ghana, the careers that they respect, engineering, doctor, pharmacist. So if you just as a business person, it's not really that much respected, because not many people own their own businesses. So I wanted to do pharmacy. But when I got to Butler, after my first semester, I was like, no, I hated pharmacy. Even though, yes, I was studying, had to do well in math, physics, and chemistry, but I didn't enjoy it. So I decided to switch to international management and marketing.
Okay. If you were to go back and go to a different college, which college would it be?
Definitely a HBCU, and it could have been either Morehouse here or some other HBCU. That's what I would have done.
For the young men in the school, what is something that you would advise for their growth and for setting them on the right path in life?
It's like I shared my background. Regardless of your background, if you just focus on the things that you want to do in life, you can do it. I liked having fun, but when it came to my education, I was always very serious about it. When I got homework, I'll be one of the first people to get it done. I'm not sure where I got it from. It might have been from my mom, but I was too young to remember. But education was really, really important. Every time, every class, every time, I just made sure I got things done. And that same philosophy followed me at work. And with Bank of America, Target, and now at Truist, I always want to make sure when they say, okay, this is what needs to be done, I want to be the first to get it done. I want to be forefront of everything and get things done. So that would be my advice. Just make sure, don't procrastinate. Don't tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. So it's at your advantage to make sure you're getting things done as soon as you get them. And I tell my team at work, when something comes out, let's get it done. When the training is out, they said it's due. We have a training due November 30th, and I told them by Monday next week, everybody should be done. They're like, why? It's too early. I still remember a song in grade school in Sierra Leone. We used to sing, an hour before is better than a minute late. And we say that so much that it stayed in our head. So I always want to make sure I get things done early, and I think that's helped me in my life.
When was the last time you went to West Africa?
2 years ago.
2
years ago. Actually, because of COVID, I was going to take my kids for the first time this Christmas, but because of COVID, we canceled it. But 2 years ago, I went to Ghana. I feel more connection to Ghana because that was my last 6 years in West Africa. So I go to Ghana often more than Sierra Leone, and it was fun. the last 2 years. I mean, we were there for 3 weeks, me and some friends.
So, what language do y'all speak down there? Is it?
In Sierra Leone, our Franca lingua, which means our main language, is Creole. I know people talk about different Creoles, but our Creole is different. It's a mixture of English, German, French, Portuguese, Spanish, then a lot of native languages. So, and that's what everybody speaks because that's the language that we all communicated. But I also speak a language called Mende, Timini. My mom was Timini, so I learned Timini from that. And the Mende is because where the orphanage were, the majority of the people spoke Mende, so I spoke Mende. And I learned French in the college, and I was going to graduate in 3.5 years, but I had a full scholarship, so I said, you know what? I got to do something with the rest of the semester that's left. So I went to Paris for 6 months, and that's how I got fluent in French.
Are your brothers are they still in West Africa?
The brother before me is in West Africa, but my oldest brother is in Europe, is in the Netherlands.
What are you interested in?
Well, I'm interested in a lot of things. I'm interested in probably real estate.
Okay.
Maybe real estate.
And I'm the guy you want to talk to then, because
Oh.
I do mortgages and.
Oh yeah, when I say young, when I was younger, I wanted to play football, but there's always you have to have a second choice on what you want to do. So I said I'll do real estate, or I'll probably go to like a trade school and do one of those things they have in there, like electrician or plumbing. One of those.
Yeah. Do you know specifically what you're looking? Because there are different sides of it. Like, do you want to be a realtor? Do you want to be an investor?
A realtor.
Okay,
when
realtor.
When they like sell the houses.
Yes, they want to sell the houses.
Yeah, I want to be a realtor.
Okay.
Oh well, yeah, I wanna try that out and see how it goes. But if that doesn't go well, then I probably was gonna do like hardwood floors.
Okay.
And like putting carpet down or stuff.
And I'm careful when I say this to people, not to discourage anybody. Working in banking, the most affluent clients are the ones that, and I don't want to generalize, but most of them that I deal with, the affluent clients, are the ones that end up doing trades like plumbing, like electrician, that own their own company now. And they decided, because we're going to need electricians for the rest of our life. However, technology change, I need one right now because my freezer in the garage keeps shutting off. It keeps shutting off. This morning when I went out there, the freezer was at 64 degrees, so everything was melting. But plumbers, however technology changes, we're going to need plumbers. People that do hardwood floors, however technology changes, we're going to need those. So it just encourage you that you can do those multiple fields and still be very successful.
Yes.
Because I know the tradition is everybody says college degree. College degree is great. Now, don't get me wrong. But if you get your undergraduate and you try to see a path in one of those areas, I will advise you, just my opinion, take it, because if you ended up having your own business, it's very successful.
If you had one thing to say to future students at Hills Academy, what would it be?
Stay focused, create goals for yourself. Start now creating goals for yourself and stay focused on those goals. Things will bump you out of the way as you go, but stay focused on those goals. When you have those and you know this is what I'm reaching for, it's easier to drive yourself towards that goal. But if you don't have a goal, then you just go, you keep bouncing in different directions. By the time you realize it's a little bit too late, but just stay focused. And those goals can change if you decide, I want to be a plumber, and through the process you decide, you know what, I can go get a master's and specialize in the information technology. You can switch, but that you always have a goal that you're leading towards. So like I will share right now, my goal they give us goals for every branch, and I'm responsible for the entire goal. My goal is by Thanksgiving to be 100% of our goals for the year. So Thanksgiving to Christmas, me and my team will just have fun because we've accomplished everything they want us to accomplish, and we're well on our way to do that. So.
What is something that drove you along the way to help you get where you are now in life?
I always felt disadvantaged because anytime even though we're in the orphanage, we went to school with every other kid, and everybody talked about what they're doing with their parents, what they're doing with the mom, what they're doing with the dad, and I always felt disadvantaged. And my primary goal was I want to have my own kids and be there as their dad. And how do I get there? And that drove me. It was always the family units that I was missing. I wanted a family unit, but I didn't take the shortcut to have the family unit at an early age. Then I could not take care of the kids. Then what was the point? So like I said, my daughter is 12, so I started having kids a little bit late, just to make sure. But that's what really drove me, that I needed to be successful. I think one of the challenges now I'm having is based on where I've come from. I've reached the points. I think sometimes I was telling a friend, sometimes I think maybe I'm satisfied, but I should not be. I should keep pushing for more. But because I came from nothing. I say it was like 10 of us in a room in the orphanage. There was really nothing. And but today I'm able to take care of my own family. So.
As a board member of Hills Academy, what are some of your goals and future plans for the school?
Number one, right now our immediate goal is to build you guys a basketball. So we're trying to raise a basketball court. So we're trying to raise money to do that. And we're well on our way to do that. That's our immediate goal. And next is being able to just provide scholarship for as many students so that we can increase the student population for Hills Academy. We want to create a scholarship fund so that the people that cannot afford the basic tuition, we can pay that for them. So right now that's our immediate goal. And it's one more thing, an outdoor classroom. So before I forget about that, we want to do an outdoor classroom.
Well, thank you, Mr. Moses Kabia, for having you here, and thank you for your time for coming to Hills Academy.
Thank you very much for having me. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. And anytime, and I tell Brian and Mike that anytime you guys can, I know you guys know him as Mr. Hill, so I keep saying Brian, sorry, but you can call me anytime if you need anything.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.